Committee. The Complete Count Committee, and I recognize one of the census people who were here 10 years ago, hasn't aged at all. But anyway, the Complete Count Committee was developed because they realized that in order to get the people to understand and to participate in the census, there has to be a trusted voice, someone that was close to the community, someone as a leader that can help people understand how to make that census count and why it's so important. So we developed this thing called the Complete Count Committee, and I'm also your train-the-trainer type person. I asked that the council put together give a liaison that I can work with so I can get your ideas and make sure they come into fruition, and also push the ideas back from the people and make sure that the Complete Count Committees work the way you want to do. We're going to try to achieve about 10,000. Like I said, they're going to be well organized. It's a very good project management plan, which I saw when I first came working for the census. Here are some of the things that the Complete Count Committee can do. They can have subcommittees, or you can have many Complete Count Committees, but they take care of the government, the media, education, faith-based groups, anything that the people on the ground need to reach out, wherever people meet. So we need leaders in those areas who are already there anyway. Teachers, librarians, like I said, ministers, it doesn't matter. The mom, the teen mom that goes out and takes care of the kids, or the coach, but anyone that can reach the people to make sure, or they already have that relationship with them, to make sure that they can understand how important the census is. Well, the census has been happening since 1790. It is part of the Constitution. It is everyone's civic duty to do the census. The census counts every inhabitant of the United States. If they're here, they're counted. It used to be done by the U.S. Marshals, in fact. Of course, got too big, and now we're actually moving to online, which is kind of great. But here's the important thing. These are two numbers. The first one I really want you to, this slide should be flipped. $675 billion. $675 billion is distributed from the federal government and between 50 states every year. And they determine that based solely or mainly on the census. And why is this so important is that in 2010, the Louisiana as a state initially responded only 65% of the people. And so you can imagine, understand we went through Katrina and some other things are out there, some other addresses weren't there. So 65% of the people initially responded or self-responded to the census. Now you look at other states like Florida or Texas and some in California, some of these states increased. And so what happens is there's what's called, I call it a net gain effect. In other words, if they reported 70%, we only reported 65%, then they took some of our money. That money belongs here. The census model is count everyone once, only once, and in the right place. We want the funds to come where the infrastructure is being used. So if people are living here in Livingston Parish, then we believe the money should be here in Livingston Parish. But that can't happen without people participating in the census, no matter what other things they do or don't believe about it. It is the way things are done. It also determines how many seats you have. And unfortunately, this map right there shows you where all our people went to Texas and Florida after Katrina. We lost a seat. So we only have 6 seats in the House now. We had 7 prior to 2010. You can blame that on the previous census person. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, we only have 6 now. But I'm saying that if you think about the net gain, you realize that everyone else, every other state, is competing for this $675 billion. So they're going to try to get their census numbers up as well. But we're at 65%. We are, again, at the bottom end of the reporting. So we have a long way to go. If we can go 20%, we have real possibility of gaining a seat. That's just a thought. Here are some of the programs that go out there. So anyone that uses these programs that are out there, such as Medicaid, SNAP, we were just talking about FEMA, flooding, that money comes from a lot of money comes from the federal government. If the people aren't reporting in those areas that there are people there, that money's not going to flow back there, or at least less money is going to flow back into the parish. And what happens is that, again, you still need the infrastructure, you still need the people to report, or excuse me, the work to be done. So where does that money come from? It could easily have came from the federal government. The state may give it to you, but it may come out the parish's bank. And if it comes out the parish's bank, then the parish is not able to do other things. So we would rather get this big lump sum of money from the federal government than having the money that comes directly from your pockets here. We can get it from somewhere else, and let's spend someone else's money. Actually, it's your money that you're spending. On top of that, like I said, there are many other programs that are out there, but the programs that are geared towards children, such as Head Start. In fact, we just came from a Head Start program in New Orleans before we came here. But Head Start and a lot of the teacher programs, they're all, and WIT is one of them. They're geared towards children and mothers, and children are one of the most severely undercounted groups there are. It's estimated about a million children were not counted in 2010. And what happens is, if you look at those, again, if you look at the weight of that, is a lot of the programs are geared towards children. So if your children are being counted, then the money's not coming to those programs, which are a large group of numbers there. We talked about how census data is used in education, transportation. Businesses, when they're looking, before I came here, I looked at some of the census data on here. Just I know how many people you had in 2010, or at least that were counted in 2010, and how many are predicted somewhere in 2018, which was 138,000. But I can see you guys are growing. Businesses see this as well. If they look at your education level, they look at everything that's out there, your infrastructure, how well you do. This is how you bring businesses back in. They're checking your data to find out whether or not this is a good place to invest. And it is, by all means, a good place to invest. We are private and confidential. I am sworn to secrecy. It costs me, if I ever get convicted, for every instance, it's 5 years and $250,000. I couldn't math, but I couldn't math at all. Because they don't pay us that kind of money. But anyway, we take it very seriously. I don't have the kind of money but anyway, they take it very seriously. We are on the best servers that are out there. We monitor our data. We don't share our data with anyone, no matter what store. And besides that, by law, we can't share that data. We can't share that data with the FBI. We can't share that data with ICE. Even if you're on 2 different programs and you report something on one program and something else on the other, we can't even report that because that's part of we're mandated. This is all about just counting people. How they use and what other programs do is a different thing. Because we're doing it online, it's a little bit different than before. Unfortunately, no matter if you're doing it online or if someone's knocking your door, there's always someone trying to take advantage of those kind of things. Census Bureau will never ask you for your social security number, your PIN number. They're not political, we're apolitical. We just want to count people. If they do, you need to tell people they need to call the police. Because we don't ask for any of that information. Every Census Bureau member that comes to your house is going to have an ID card. They're going to have identification. They will have their own laptop. They won't have to use any of your equipment or anything like that. And besides that, if you want to become a census person, we're hiring right now. We have hundreds of jobs in this area for address canvassing. This is the first wave. It just started, actually, in full force this week. And then follow on will be the enumeration where they're knocking on doors. The address canvassing is pretty interesting because they were able to reconcile about 65% of the addresses with the post office and through satellite imagery and other databases. And the other 35% now they're knocking on doors and checking your address and asking you, hey, you have any additional living spaces there? And we also have ways that we count group homes, campuses, and things like that. The homeless will work with you to make sure that everyone's counted. Like I said, our motto is to count everyone once, only once in the right place. We want an accurate count. People will get a letter in the mail, will have a certain code in there, that will be your code forever. You won't be able to be counted twice. But if you have workers in Livingston Parish, at over 50% of the time, 50.001, even though they may live in Texas, they should be counted here because they're using your resources for more than half a year. Otherwise, on 1 April, wherever you are, that's where we count you. I spoke about internet, smartphone, tablet. You can do it online, phone, mail out. It's easy, it's simple. Here's some key dates there. Right now we're in the education phase. We start with these committees that I'm asking the parish council for. We'll move on to later on the census, where we're in awareness phase. About March 23rd, somewhere around there, you'll start getting those letters, and they'll actually be able to do the census online. April 1, that is the census day. We ask that everyone does the census by then. After that point, we will come back and let you know, hey, you have these areas that haven't reported. You may want to give them one last chance. We'll give them probably to around June, but after June, those numbers are stamped in stone for 10 years.